Hello, my name is Lanning, and I am a senior engineer at ARCCA. I am a forensic investigator and a safety expert. My background is in materials science and engineering. Materials scientists use physics and chemistry to understand what things are made of and how those materials interact with their environment. Materials science has very broad applications. For example, for my undergraduate, I studied biomedical devices. For my master's, I studied electronic materials. And then for my PhD, I was looking at the fracture mechanics of thin film materials. And even though these are all very different applications, they all apply the same principles built around understanding materials, how they're processed, and how they behave. In a forensic investigation, I use evidence left behind in materials to learn about the history of a piece of evidence. For example, I can look at damage to a part to learn about where that damage came from. Sometimes forensic investigation requires more than just a visual inspection, though. I often perform laboratory testing to find out what material we are dealing with, whether it has the properties it needs to do its job, and whether it shows signs that the material has deteriorated or possibly manufacturing defects that might have led to the failure that we saw. I'm also a safety expert. Back when I worked at academic research laboratories and later on at a commercial testing lab, I had to navigate a lot of different hazards. More than that, I had to help my technicians work around those hazards safely. This included things like machines that could crush or cut, lasers, dangerous chemicals, radiation, compressed gas, any number of things that if somebody got hurt, it could be an injury that they carried with them the rest of their lives. I took this very seriously, and obviously it meant that my technicians had to be very well trained to work with these hazards. But I also had control of the lab itself. I could modify equipment, I could arrange the lab, I could do any number of things that made the environment that my people worked in safer, and hopefully head off some of these hazards by separating the workers from them whenever I could. And that's what safety engineering is. It's building safety into the machines that people work with, and it's building safety into the environment that they work in. That's what I apply at ARCCA as a safety expert. Even if you haven't thought about it before, you've probably seen some safety engineering strategies in action. You can probably think of a machine that locks a door when it is moving, or maybe something that shuts itself down when the door is opened. Maybe you can think of a machine that turns itself off if there's nobody at the controls. And those are just a few examples of safety engineering. Whether I'm looking at consumer products in the home or heavy equipment in an industrial facility, it all comes down to identifying a hazard and then designing strategies to manage that hazard. My favorite cases are the ones where we get to do some testing at the ARCCA lab. Sometimes we'll take existing devices and test or demonstrate how they work. In other cases, we get to design and test new safety devices. Cases like that usually come from a real-world incident where someone was hurt or killed. And what we'll do is we'll take the details of that accident and we'll design the equipment to prevent similar accidents from occurring again in the future. For example, this is a sensor system that we designed and built for a scissor lift. If it detects a situation where the operator might be trapped against an overhead obstruction, our system stops the lift. It has a built-in bypass so the operator can free themselves or to make it easier for somebody else to rescue them. Designing for safety can save lives, and I'm really proud of that part of my work here at ARCCA. A lot of my projects start out as forensic investigations and then transition into a safety engineering analysis. As I perform the forensic investigation and I start to piece together the details of what happened in an accident, I gather the information I need to understand why it happened and what led up to the accident and how future accidents like that might be prevented. If you need help with a project or you'd like to know more, you can find me at ARCCA. Please visit our website or check the video description for links to expert profiles and to case studies of some of our past work. Thank you for watching and stay safe out there.